All right, guys, welcome back. There we go. See how like nothing, you see how like no diff fluid came out of that? And look at that. Those are solid chunks. You will remember from our last video and did like a survival trail weekend. Sucked in that hole. There is no getting that thing out. You'll remember from the end of that video when we got back, we noticed that there was diff oil all over the floor of the shop here. That's the whole pumpkin that's drained out overnight. I've already gone under there, emptied the rest of the diff, whatever was left in there, and I've started pulling all the bolts off the cover. Then we're gonna pull it over to a bench and we're gonna fix it. This is where our issues were coming from, right along here. So I've tapped that back flush with a hammer the best that I can. I can pull this diff cover off, RTV it back into place, put the bolts back in. There's a good chance that it's actually gonna leak because the mounting surfaces for your diff have to be so exact, and the rear diff cover off of the factory C2 is just a sheet metal plate. So this is bound to happen. You can obviously tell though that it is definitely, there we go, come on. It is definitely on there. There we go. See how like nothing, you see how like no diff fluid came out of that? Your rear drain plug is gonna have a magnet. And look at that. Those are solid chunks. See if I can get, you see right there, that tooth right there, that guy's chunky, like something, like there's been a chunk taken out of that guy. And so that's telling us that these teeth, these spider gears are done. You see how it's open on the bottom here and you can see inside all those spider gears? That's an open diff, right? So you have a yoke here, you've got a yoke on this side, this guy, these two are going to hold your axles in. Your axle is going to come in this way, and then the other axle is going to come in this way. And then this is your carrier. And then you've got your drive gear right here. Right now with an open differential, the most power goes to the wheel with the least amount of traction, which isn't ideal in a 4x4 setup. So that's the main reason we want to switch from the C200 series diff to the M226. This is the M226. You can tell it's the M226 because this one is actually stamped Dana. Or it's sitting at an angle where not quite empty. You see this piece right here? You'll remember on the open diff, this isn't here. Neither is this. This is your clutch. That's going to engage your locker. Or it actually is like engage and disengage this way. So that's the difference. That's what it's looking like on an M226. We really should be replacing this diff cover, but it's a Sunday and I don't want the truck to be non-mobile anymore. And this is just part of the deal when you take your truck and your adventures into some of the more wild places. This surface here is where we were leaking. In order for that to get a proper seal, you're gonna need that to be completely flush like it is the rest of the way around. And then once we get to here, it's just not. I'm concerned we're gonna spend the money and do this work and then have it not seal. Swapping out a rear diff without having the gears to re-gear the front is not a good move. You know what I mean? Like it's just not like, it's what we would call a non-zero sum game. But yeah, so that's sort of where we're at, guys. We're gonna have to clean the Dickens. Ugh, man, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't bent a whole bunch. Like it wasn't bent crazy like when we hit it, and yet it still leaked like crazy. You see, that's you can see just how bad it is at that level, right? Sort of like peaks and valleys. And that's, I feel like I'm just asking for trouble if I run that. It does allow me to Oh man, but I want to be mobile. You know what? I'm going to clean this. I'm going to get it ready for reinstall, and then I'm going to decide what we do. If I reinstall this, or if I buy a new cover. Let me tinker here for a few minutes, maybe an hour, and get a path forward, and I'll touch base with you guys in a minute. Okay, so Mitch actually just dropped his video from the weekend. I'm going to show you exactly where I think I damaged my diff. So you see how, like, there's very little clearance there, and that's a very, very steep drop in, and boom. You can see right there, right here, I dragged the diff on the ground. You see how much clearance Mitch has in his Jeep. So we come down that crazy step there. Let's fast forward to, right, so you see that? Now wait. You see that brup? So you can kind of see the top of my camper shake there. That's the rear diff hitting that edge. And if you look, oh man, I've done so much. We did a lot more damage on this trip than I thought we did. Watch this. Where's the pause button? There it is. Look how splayed out my awning is. It's like pushed way out there. Cut our tip. All right, we're a little light here. A little bit more there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this on till it's hand tight, finger tight. Then we're gonna wait an hour. And then we're gonna torque it to spec. All right, there's one. Try not to shift it as much as you see me shifting mine, because you'll spread that RTV out too much, which we might have already done. I'm also going to be driving a lot more conservatively with the way things are looking inside this. I will say though, I'm going to say this, the C200 series rear diff will take an insane amount of abuse. So there is nothing wrong with running an open diff while you're four-wheeling. Just know that you either will want a winch, a really good recovery system, or go with a friend so that you always have someone who can pull you out, because the sneaky thing with an open diff is four-wheel drive can get you into trouble because it can make you feel a lot more confident than you really should be. All right, so now a critical step is we're gonna let that sit for 1 hour. We're gonna let that cure up for 1 hour. Then we're gonna come in and torque all these up in a star pattern. Crisscross. Crisscross. And it's tacky to the touch, so we're going to tighten these up now. The spec says 31 foot-pounds of torque on the rear diff. And I don't have a torque wrench right now. Mine broke, so we're going to estimate that. Very good. Okay. I'm thankful that all the skid plates underneath there kept everything else safe. This is going to be it for this video, guys. Just a little bit of shop talk and some of the nitty gritty that you gotta do with an adventure truck. So as always, guys, I want to encourage you guys to live free, be wild. It's really important. Get out there, do some adventuring, have a good time, love yourself, and we will most definitely see you on the next one.